Good morning. I want to talk today about exiting the matrix. I heard this analogy. I don't think I can get credit for thinking of it all by myself, but as soon as I heard it, it was like, bam, that's it. So it's the idea that we're living inside of a video game. So there's actually, a couple of scientists that support this theory of the universe, that we're living inside an encoded video game. And, obviously not exactly like a video game, but on a larger scale, the idea that it's all programming that's coded and that we're living inside of this predetermined reality subset that's much like a video game. So I'm going to be discussing various aspects of this in different videos, but the important thing is to know, how do you exit the matrix? So the first step, of course, is knowing that you actually are inside the matrix. So just imagine, if you will, that we are characters inside of a video game, and this is a video game about, war, fighting, conflict, things like that. And there may be a few other themes as well, but that's how the code is written, is that the characters are going to be at battle, fighting. And imagine that you are one of these characters and that you really want to change the world that you find yourself in. You don't like all the fighting, you don't like the death and destruction, the decay that you see around you, the world, falling into shambles and crumbling before your eyes, and there's sadness and poverty and destruction. And so you identify another character in the game as the source of all of this evil and bad. So you stockpile your weapons, you get trained up, you get a few men together, or an army, as many of our countries do, and you're going to go annihilate the bad guy. But here's the problem. You're inside of a game. The code is written to be about war, to be about conflict and fighting. So really, by carrying out that programming, you are just fulfilling the programming that you were written to do. If you're actually living inside of a video game, how many bad guys do you have to kill to change the world that you find yourself in? It's limitless, because there's always another one that's written into the game, where you get to another level and there's a different kind of bad guy. You're simply fulfilling the programming of the game. You're fulfilling the programming of the coding that as it was written. So the only way to change this world truly is to stop looking at the other characters that have also been programmed that way, blaming them and thinking that if I can just kill enough of them, I can change this world. No, the world that you find yourself in, that you're living in, is coded to be that way. And there will always be another bad guy that pops up. And I think our history kind of, would support this idea, because we've been in conflict, war, and fighting for thousands and thousands of years. There's always somebody else that's going to take up that role in our lives, in our awareness. So of course, the only way to really change it is to first exit the matrix. So it's kind of to rise above the game and to realize, wow, I'm living inside of a video game. I'm living inside of an altered reality. It's not really real. And when you exit the matrix, and just imagine, if you will, that you're floating out of the game, out of the television set, and you're seeing yourself, fulfilling all of these roles and going through all of these actions, and you realize that you can never solve it inside the game. You can never solve the problem at the level of the problem. This is what Einstein was saying. You have to take yourself out of the problem to see that what's really going on isn't even what you think it is. The other characters in the game, the bad guys, the ones that you're trying to get rid of to solve to solve the problem, get the world better, are just also part of the same program. So when you come out and you realize that it's just, the problem isn't what you think it is. It's something completely different. It's the programming that's the problem. It's the code that was written into the game that's the problem. So we need a new job, okay? Our job doesn't need shouldn't be stamping out evil. It will never happen in the reality we find ourselves in. The job is to elevate your consciousness and realize that we all need to be computer programmers instead and rewrite the code. We need to hack the system, hack the computer program, and actually write a different code from a higher level of consciousness. Be the smart ones that write the code, that create the program, that make the game the way it is. And we can change it to a different kind of game. A game of, I don't know, heaven on earth. A game of people coming together and having fun and excitement and adventure in new creative ways that are harmonious and loving and feel good and stopping this conflict. So first is to wake up and realize that you're actually living in an altered reality that's not real. The task, the job, is not what you think it is. Realizing that those bad guys are just part of the program, and exiting, realizing you can exit that consciousness and see that we can, all those other characters, we can come together, rewrite the program, hack the code, and write a different kind of game. Create something completely new from a different level of consciousness. Now, just to touch on this, we're going to have another video later, but the only way to do this is through the heart, because there's a German gentleman, Harold, I can't pronounce his last name, who turned me on to this. When we're in the mind, left brain, right brain, we're in that binary code. It's like computer programming, zeros and ones, binary code. When we enter the heart, now it's a trinary code. That simply trumps or is a more complex coding. It overrides the binary code. So when the way to exit is truly through the heart. And of course, there's going to be some different meditative tips and ideas to go along with that. I want to keep this short so that I don't lose my audience. But we will definitely be covering the ways to exit the matrix, because this is the only way we're going to change it, folks. We've had it all wrong. We've been trying to kill the other characters in the game, and that's just going to keep us in the same game. So anyway, I hope you're as excited as I am to realize that if we take a completely different approach, we really can do this. This is so exciting. We can rewrite the program, hack the code, and write the game the way we want. Create the earth and the heaven on earth the way we want. So super excited. I love all you guys. I can't wait to come together and rewrite this program. So have a wonderful, glorious, blessed day, and namaste.